What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another stream here by Agent of the Forecast. And as for those who know, tropical storm HENRI is now heading closer and closer to the New England and Northeast coast here. It's probably within an hour or so from an actual landfall here. As you can tell, we're really watching out for some very significant effects such as storm surge, rip currents, extreme flooding, as well very strong wind gusts here. We have already seen multiple flooding reports as well very strong gusts as well off Long Island there near Montauk, as well as some pretty strong winds off the coast of Rhode Island. So this is definitely something we have not seen in basically over a decade. And this is obviously a very, very unique storm here. Was not even expected to even head for the northeast coast. And here it is now within just around an hour or so of landfall from hitting the northeast here. So as you can tell, there's that low circulation right there. Really strong banding on the western quadrant. Like we talked about in my videos, the worst rain will actually be centered across areas west of the actual low pressure. So looking at as well really intense rainfall across eastern Connecticut, portions of much of Rhode Island, and as well as seeing some really intense rainfall now starting to become very more widespread across portions of eastern Long Island there, Montauk as well. You can kind of see the webcam on the very higher side of my screen here. It's seeing extreme waves here, I believe getting up to 15-foot waves here. Overall, really intense rip currents as well within this general webcam. You can kind of see this is on Montauk, and the waves are basically going above the sidewalk here, and that's obviously showing you how intense the overall the how intense the waves are within this system here. Obviously, it's going to allow for that 3 to 5 foot storm surge, which was predicted by the National Hurricane Center. So keeping a very overall close eye on that. And as you see on the bottom of my screen here, there's a satellite imagery on HENRI, and there you see that low pressure basically just off the Rhode Island coast here. So looking at a landfall within this general vicinity here. So really watching out for the overall symmetrical tropical storm wind field to bring in some winds all across the general vicinity, but with the worst flooding risk kind of just towards the west of that low pressure here and west of that of the actual landfall itself here. So this thing actually did not make landfall in Long Island as of what I know, and that it's going to be doing what the latest models are showing here and having it hit near Stonington there, Fisher's Island, Washington, and that general vicinity is where we're really watching out for that landfall. As well, we do have a few flash flood warnings here across portions of north central New Jersey. Again, can't let the possibility for some widespread flooding here. We do have a very widespread moderate risk as well for flooding across much of New England in the northeast here. But before we get deeper into the stream here, I would recommend you guys do share this stream with friends and family. Because obviously this is very important that we have the word out within the system here. This is a very unique storm, and obviously we want to make sure as many people as possible are notified within this system here, because obviously power outages will be very likely. Obviously that would mean they would not be able to watch on the cable, so the only thing they can turn to for information will be YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, just overall social media. So I would definitely recommend, if you have any friends or family within the Rhode Island, Long Island, Connecticut, and Massachusetts region, that you do share this stream so they can get informed, because obviously this could very well be a quote-unquote historic power outage event here for New England. Obviously, we've seen multiple nor'easters bring in thousands of power. Obviously, we had a Hurricane Bob in 1991 and then Irene, but this could very well bring in some very widespread amounts of power outages. And obviously, we have to keep a very, very close eye on this system. Obviously, widespread flooding has already been reported. Let's see what we actually have within the description of these flash flood warnings here for New Jersey. So looking at, let's see here, local law enforcement reported flash flooding in the warned area. Numerous water rescues have been reported in the South Brunswick County, South River, and Jamesburg areas. Numerous roads are closed. Travel is strongly discouraged here, and 3 to 8 inches of rain has already fallen. An additional amount of anywhere from half to an inch is possible. So we actually have had anywhere from 3 to 8 inches here within portions of north central and northeastern New Jersey, and this just shows basically how widespread this rainfall is going to be here. Obviously, keeping a very close eye on this possibility for some really widespread flooding across the general vicinity here. So you can kind of see even areas far to the west are seeing some pretty extreme flooding here. Again, it's that 3 to 8 inches has already fallen. And then look at that, numerous water reports or numerous water rescues have been reported across this area here. Many vehicles stranded and some submerged in water. Some residents have been evacuated in the Cransbury and Jamesburg area. This is a dangerous situation. Between 4 to 9 inches of rain has fallen. So this is extremely crazy how even there in central New Jersey, we are seeing extreme effects here. Here's a report there of 3.5 inches there near Mercer, New Jersey. As well 2.5 there near the section there of Tom's River. So this is quite a significant and widespread event here. But the worst of the area actually will be, believe it or not, across the actual area of the landfall here. Let's see here. But again, if I recommend you guys share the stream here. But yeah, I'm trying to tell some. There's been water rescues here. But again, like I did say, we are keeping a very, very close eye on this system here. This is Tropical Storm Henri nearing landfall. Let's see, we actually had a few reports here of some very strong winds just to areas near Rhode Island earlier on. So we actually had a 63-mile-an-hour wind gust here, right here, just off. Let's see here. This is actually in Block Island, the Block Island jetty here. As well, we've seen here, Merchant Streets at Wellington have been flooded. So, again, we're seeing some pretty significant flooding here. But just look at this webcam right here. This is Montauk, New York. And they are just getting absolutely hammered by this system here. But for those who are just joining the stream here, we're keeping a close eye on Tropical Storm Henri as it is heading for portions of Rhode Island and Connecticut. Let's actually get a look here at what the National Hurricane Center has so far here. So they have, this is as of the 10 a.m. Eastern update, and they actually had a special advisory here instead of 11. And they have tropical storm conditions continue spreading inland across portions of southern New England and eastern Long Island. But here's the actual peak storm surge. So we still have some expected storm surge as the system has still not made official landfall as of now. 3 to 5 foot storm surge expected here across portions of Long Island there, portions there of New England, including as well portions of Massachusetts, Cape Cod. We'll even see some pretty significant storm surge. So as you see that kind of clockwise spin here, that kind of clockwise flow is going to bring in obviously extreme storm surge near Nantucket, Buzzards Bay, and as well as going to bring in into the Bay Area. It's going to bring in some as well very strong winds, and as well obviously that will allow for some really bad ocean conditions, and that's going to allow for those really strong waves and overall really ugly conditions to spread into areas between Connecticut and Long Island. Just look at the conditions here on Montauk, New York. I mean, they're just getting absolutely hammered here. I'm not sure why it's not loading at the moment here. Maybe the camera is paused or it's either frozen, but you can kind of see just within that pause, you see extremely strong winds here picking up the water. I mean, not picking up the water per se, but obviously it's allowing for some extremely choppy water, and it's definitely very dangerous here. So I recommend you guys would stay nowhere close to the actual ocean itself here, because there is going to be some significant storm surge as well as some pretty dangerous driving conditions like we just saw in the flash flood warning there from New Jersey. We are seeing overall some dangerous conditions here. Let's actually get a look here at a Twitter, look at a Twitter post here. And you can kind of see, look at that water coming in the wall, Watch Hill, and the Yacht Club here. Just look at that. That is really, that's obviously some pretty significant storm surge here. Obviously something crazy, nor is it obviously dangerous at this point. But obviously this will start to pick up here. This has not made landfall yet, and there's still hours and hours of these choppy waters to continue. So here's just a look here at the very strong winds there. You kind of see the sails. I'm not sure if those are loose or anything like that, but there are sails. There are boats in the water. You can just see that really strong waves kind of pushing in to portions of the parking lot. Obviously, this is nowhere close to the expected storm surge as of now, because again, this is still the very beginning of the event here, and we're still going to be seeing hours and hours of this to go. So obviously, this will be even dangerous conditions into the more rural roads here. And obviously, as you go further inland, we're going to be seeing as well storm surge start to move in as well. We may see possibly 3 to 5 foot storm surge by the end of this whole storm for the max 3 to 5 foot storm surge. So who knows how much storm surge will be in this area by the peak of this event here. But overall, it's really ugly and choppy waters at that moment here. But yeah, you can kind of just see here's a look at the actual Weather Channel where they're gonna have their actual their team. So you have a lot of teams there in Montauk. We actually two in Montauk. One, obviously Jim Cantori there, and Narragansett, and actually I'm not sure how to pronounce that, Narragansett. And actually Jim Cantori was actually supposed to be Newport, but I guess they pushed him to Narragansett. And we have a few other people there across Massachusetts. But overall, you can kind of see this is a preparation we're seeing here within the system. So this is obviously some pretty nasty waters. You see really choppy waters there within HENRI. This is actually earlier yesterday, and you can see it looks like someone is enjoying that storm. This is obviously as well from yesterday. So we even saw some nasty conditions yesterday. This is from 2 hours ago here. The sea wall Narragansett is just getting absolutely hammered with these very strong waves here. And I think at this point, we're going to start seeing some future storm surge as the worst of the conditions start to move inland. We're going to start seeing some larger waves as well going over that seawall. So I would not doubt we start to see some more storm surge. Here's a look at Newport as well. Newport as well seeing some pretty significant waves as well. You can see really jumping off that seawall there. I mean, if this thing were any stronger, this thing would definitely be a lot more significant. So thankfully, this is only a high-end tropical storm and not a hurricane like we saw with Bob here, because Bob was just absolutely crazy here. You see a lot of people were boarding up for this system. Again, really significant impacts we are already seeing here within this system. The main threat obviously will be the power outages and flooding here. Obviously, well, we can't rule out the possibility for some significant tree damage. How hard will southern Vermont get hit with rain? Southern Vermont actually will get quite hard, or will get hit quite hard with the rain here. You guys actually are just outside that moderate for flash flooding for the next overall 3 days here, obviously. And then you guys are under a slight risk for flooding here for today and tomorrow. So you guys could very well see some significant rain, actual rain totals. We may see scattered 2 to 4 inches, or more widespread 2 to 4 inches. Within the higher elevations, we may get over half a foot of rain here. So keeping a very close eye on that. As well, again, we do have some pretty widespread storm surge warnings here across, obviously, areas near Rhode Island. Let's see if we can actually get an actual description there. So all the way from Bridgeport there, White Plains, Brentwood, New London, Narragansett here. Obviously, they're all under some storm surge warnings, which obviously makes a lot of sense to why we have flash flood or storm surge warnings, because obviously we do have expected storm surge to get up to 3 to 5 feet, which is obviously quite significant considering New England standards. Not too uncommon within nor'easters, but this is completely different than nor'easter, even though nor'easters are seen as wintry hurricanes. Let's get a look at the actual conditions here for Block Island, Rhode Island here. See, we actually have any new updates within the actual wind gusts. So we actually have gusts up to 30 at this point. So that's what we have so far for Block Island, Rhode Island. Let's now get a look here at what Montauk is seeing here. Montauk is actually on the top right of your screen here. That's actually what we're looking at as well. They are gusting up to 30 miles an hour. And actually, speaking of the actual gusts, I want to again look here at the actual National Data Buoy Center, which is going to give us a better idea what the actual winds are picking up here. So buoys are actually picking up to 40 gusts and knots here. This is actually a buoy just outside of Rhode Island, I believe. So yeah, right there is that buoy. And they actually have wind speeds up to 43 knots with wind gusts up to 40 or 50 knots. So we are seeing some pretty gusty winds here. Let's see here the actual time frame. So obviously what this is actually 10:50 in the morning here. So obviously you can kind of see as of yesterday here, these things have really picked up 7 to 8 knots there. Yesterday, almost 24 hours ago, and now we're getting up into the upper 40s here. So we're basically seeing up to basically 56 to maybe almost 60 minor wind gusts here within that buoy there. Other buoys are kind of picking up into the upper 30s. So it looks like this buoy that we just looked at right now is actually the best to actually look at. Again, other buoys here, 42 knots, 43 knots. And those are located as well just off Long Island, where they're under the western quadrant. And here's the history for them as well. So obviously they were only getting around 11 knots there yesterday, but now they're getting up to the upper 30s and as well into the 40s as well. So you're starting to see these winds are really gusting up there, up to anywhere from 50 to 60 miles an hour. just off the coast there of the Northeast here. Let's get now another look here at the actual GR2 analyst. You can kind of see a really intense rainfall. Obviously, the few hours ago, it was really hitting areas like Narragansett, and now it's now heading for areas like New London, Norwich, there across portions of eastern Connecticut, and I would not doubt we start to see some flash flood warnings there soon. Here's the actual 1 hour rainfall rate, and you can kind of see we're seeing areas right here near Rhode Island getting up to rain rates or hour rates of anywhere from 1.25 to 1.5 inches per hour. So we're basically at this rate going to get over an additional half foot of rain across portions there of far southwestern Rhode Island. And just off the coast here, we're seeing rain rates of over 3 inches per hour, and that will obviously bring in extremely dangerous flash flooded conditions here, specifically for inland areas if we see 3 inches per hour. But yeah, we are starting to see some pretty significant overall conditions here. Let's actually get a look at another tweet here. I believe we actually have a gust here up to 75.8 miles an hour right here. Look at this tweet right here. 78.5 mile an hour wind gust here. I mean, that's just absolutely crazy, this storm here. I mean, look at that, 78.5. So this storm's overall producing some pretty strong gusts overall. What could Manchester, New Hampshire be getting from this system? So I believe Manchester is in southern portion near Berlin. Yeah, so you're actually going to be seeing an overall good amount of rain specifically as well. Good thing you're not on the actual western quadrant, though. A little bit of rain is heading for your area there near Manchester. You're about to start getting the actual outer bandings, and those could be quite intense here. You can kind of see those outer bandings right here across northern Massachusetts and southern New Hampshire. So let's now get a look here at the actual the 3-day average. You guys are under, basically right on the edge of a marginal and a slight risk. You guys, I think, are only in the marginal, I believe. So you guys could see some rainfall, but it's really going to be a lot, very minimal, anywhere from 1 to 2 inches, really. So you guys aren't going to be seeing anything crazy here. You guys may see a few wind gusts, something like that. But overall, the worst should stay out of Manchester. And as well, you guys are still under a 40-50%. Actually, no, I think you guys are under a 40-50, yes, for tropical storm force winds here. Obviously, we have a 100% chance there across far eastern Long Island, portions of Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts. So keeping a very close eye on that. But let's just now get a actually pretty big look here. This thing actually, for some reason, I believe this thing's out, or it's just not loading here. But here's the latest look here. I wonder if we refresh. I wonder if this camera is actually down here. It's probably down, or it's just frozen. But yeah, I mean, this is the webcam here, Montauk. I don't think it's actually even, I think it's down, to be honest. Never mind, it's not down. I just think it's just froze or something like that. Yeah, this camera is unavailable here, so let's actually get out of that. That sucks. The camera died on us. Well, here, this was Montauk, and you saw Montauk was getting absolutely hammered here. You could just see the waves. I mean, that's unfortunate that camera is down. Hopefully we can get a look at that later on here. So let's actually just move, I guess we can just move this like that. That's just not the greatest, but oh well, it'll work. So, oops, that's not what I wanted. That's unfortunate. Well, that messed it up. Well, again, I do apologize. I'm not sure why that just happened. There we go. That should work, and then let's do that. Okay, there we go. So here's a look here at the peak storm surge for those who are just joining in. 3 to 5 foot storm surge is expected there across portions of, let's see here, Buzzards Bay, Narragansett, and to Long Island Sound here. So the reasoning for why we're seeing 3 to 5 foot storm surge all the way as far as that eastern region is because of that counterclockwise spin here and that counterclockwise flow within that low pressure. Obviously, within low pressure, you see counterclockwise flow. And that's going to allow for those really strong winds and as well overall choppy waters to go into the general vicinity here. So that's obviously within that little kind of bay area there and the little sound between Long Island and Connecticut. That's obviously be just bound to get extremely choppy water, especially if it's within a closed area like that, kind of just within closed, and like something like that is closed, like a bay. It's obviously going to get some overall pretty choppy waters, and it's actually where you see the choppiest waters within bay areas, specifically within tropical systems like that. But yeah, that's where we're seeing the 3 to 5 foot storm surge all the way from Long Island Sound there, not far from general vicinity of northern New York City, but going all the way up to Nantucket Sound, which is all the way in southeastern Massachusetts here. So we do have as well, I believe, some dangerous flash flood warnings here. Let's now get a look at the actual flash flood warnings we do have in northern New Jersey. Actually, a few of them have actually expired, but we still have one right here. Flash flood warning remains until 11 a.m. Eastern. So this is actually about to expire, but we do actually have law enforcement reported flash flooding here, and some residents have been evacuated in the Cransbury and Jamesburg area, and this is actually a dangerous situation. So this is actually a dangerous situation here within New Jersey with those flash flood warnings here. And we now actually have a flash flood warning here for Connecticut now, actually. So it's actually our first flash flood warning here for Connecticut, including, I actually kind of predicted that, actually. I kind of said they were about to have a flash flood warning here, about time they do. So this is, let's see here what they actually have. So this is actually until 12:45 Eastern time. Between 1 to 3 inches of rain have fallen. An additional 1 to 2 inches are possible. And the reasoning why those numbers are so low, you're probably wondering why is there flash flood warning for that, is because obviously because how fast this rain is falling here. I mean, this is not within a whole day. This is falling within a few hours alone. So keep an extremely, extremely close eye on that here. But I mean, look at the extremely strong banding we're seeing here across their portions of Washington, Westerly, Ashaway. They're getting just absolutely hammered within that western quadrant of the extremely heavy rain. So Stonington getting hit quite hard. Groton, Long Point, you guys are getting hit quite hard. So if you're in southeastern Connecticut, you guys are under a large flash flood warning, and we're about to see a lot more actually be issued throughout the day. I mean, expect a lot of probably a lot of eastern Connecticut to be under one overall. But you can kind of see overall the really heavy rain is heading towards West Mystic, Stonington, New London, Jewett City. So this is just really unfortunate for these areas. Boy, here in Florida, it's quiet. You think we should be getting all this as it's peak season here? Well, this is definitely a pretty unique storm here for sure. But yeah, keeping a very close eye on the system here. Obviously, it is within around an hour or so within landfall here. So keeping a very close eye on that. I do apologize if I'm kind of pausing. I'm actually getting DMs here on Discord for people sending me this Twitter photos here. So we're here to actually look here at a tree that fell here near Charleston, Rhode Island here. I mean, look at that. This is going to be a pretty big threat here, and it's going to be a massive factor towards why this could very well be a historic power outage event here for Connecticut specifically, because obviously we all know Connecticut has a very poor power system. No offense if you're in Connecticut, but this is obviously they have pretty poor power system. So things like this will happen pretty far inland as well. I mean, Charleston, Rhode Island, I believe. I'm actually not familiar where Charleston, Rhode Island is. I'm actually about to find out where that is. But I wouldn't doubt, I mean, based on the scenery, it looks like it's a little bit further inland. So let's actually see how far inland Charleston, Rhode Island is in. So we're about to see how far, if I can even learn how to type. There we go. Charleston, Rhode Island. Let's see where that is. Or no, Charlestown. Wait, that's not Charleston. That's Charlestown. Charlestown. I don't know why I was typing Charleston the whole time. So Charlestown is actually just off the coast here. Actually, it's not inland. It's actually pretty off the coast here. So this is going to be a scenery where we continue to see across Rhode Island, across Connecticut, across Long Island, and believe it or not, we may see a few things happen like this even into New Hampshire and southern Vermont, considering how saturated the soil will be. Again, 1 to 2 inches for Vermont within a fast time period like that is a lot here. So 8 to 12 footers breaking here on Rhode Island here. Look at that. We're seeing 8 to 12 footers actually reported here across areas off Long Island. So really extremely big waves here. Look at that wave right there. That was a pretty big wave there. Holy cow. That was a massive. Look at that wave back there. That is a great surfing wave, obviously, but with the rip currents, that's extremely dangerous. Obviously, extremely dangerous conditions there. If you are obviously surfing in that, definitely would not recommend that at all. I believe I have another DM here, another DM for a report of a tree going down here. So we're seeing a ton of trees now starting to fall off here. This is actually near Mantunuk, Mantunuk. I think it's Mantunuk. We are seeing pretty large trees really falling off here across Rhode Island. Look at that. Looks like Mantunuk Road or Beach Road here. So really looking at extremely big tree. I mean, look at that oak here. That is a massive oak tree that just gets basically split in half. And obviously, I would not doubt if this would cause a power outage. So I'm actually, speaking of power outages, let's get a look here at if there are actually any more reports of power outages, because obviously that probably alone probably caused a pretty significant power outage. So let's see, where am I even going to go? Where are my tabs? Let's see here. I'm pretty sure this is my tabs right here. So let's actually get to look at the power outages US, and let's see how many power outages there are so far. So Rhode Island now is now in the yellow, 25,000 without power there, and 13,000 in Washington County. Let's see here. Yeah, we have 25,000 without power already in Rhode Island there. Near Newport County, we have 5,000 now, actually almost 6,000 out without power, and over 30%, for those who are in Washington County are without power here. We have 14,000. As well there, even in Pennsylvania, we have 16,000 power outages. Connecticut has 7,000 power outages, obviously across southeastern Connecticut. 3,000 in New London, and even now nearly 1,000 to the county north of that. But yeah, obviously specifically centered across the southern portion of Connecticut, or sorry, Rhode Island, we do actually have a ton of power outages. But yeah, this is obviously a pretty significant event here we're looking at right now. Again, power outages are really starting to pile up a lot. Actually, before I even started the stream here, I don't think Rhode Island was over 10,000. And obviously, why are power outages starting to spike like that all of a sudden? Well, because things like this are happening here in Mantunuk, which is obviously in Rhode Island here as well. Looking at 8 12-footers. Let's actually refresh so we can get a general idea of any more photos here going on. So let's see here. So actually, this is a map represents the probability of losing power. And you can kind of see, look at northeastern Connecticut. It's actually the higher number. And actually, we just looked at power outages, and the majority are kind of specifically right here in New London County. However, we're starting to see some more power outages being centered across northeastern Connecticut. So that's obviously what we have so far. So far, I don't see any new images there of trees that have fallen down here, but we've seen some massive oaks that have fallen down. I mean, look at that. That's just a massive tree that's fallen down. Let's actually see if there's any more photos here. If there's any more tweets that they've sent out. Actually, I'm not the greatest with using Twitter, if I'm being completely honest. I'm actually not the greatest with Twitter. But here, look at that. Is that Jim Cantori? Oh my gosh, look at Jim Cantori. There's Jim Cantori right there, ladies and gentlemen. Jim Cantori is right there. Let's see here where he's actually at here. So this is actually, let's see here. I don't think this actually gives us a better idea, but again, I think he is Narragansett, I believe so. But yeah, look at that, Jim Cantori right there, in some type of house. And look at those really intense waves right there. Obviously, very extremely dangerous rip currents are associated with this. But yeah, look at that. That is Jim Cantori right there. So yeah, that's obviously quite awesome. I'm actually gonna copy that video address and actually send it to Discord right there. Look at that, Mr. Jim. But yeah, I mean, we're seeing when Jim Cantori is in an area, you know that's where the worst of it's gonna happen here, because obviously Jim Cantori is obviously always sent to the worst spots. Like we remember Isaias, remember he gets sent to the worst spots for winter storms here overall. But as of now, I don't think we've actually had any new images here of trees going down. I'll let you guys know if we get any more trees that are going down. Let's actually refresh. I'm not sure when this refreshes, but remember, Rhode Island's at 25,000 basically. So, again, really intense winds are starting to make their way towards Rhode Island. Let's actually get a look at the actual tropical storm warnings we have in effect as of 11 a.m. Eastern. So, tropical storm warnings are in effect all the way from Nantucket, Providence, Montauk, New Haven. All Connecticut's actually under a tropical storm warning here. All Rhode Island as well. And all of Long Island is under a tropical storm warning. Here's a look at the actual overall radar site. You can kind of see we are seeing some pretty intense rainfall, specifically centered across portions there of eastern Connecticut and portions of much of Rhode Island in general. So this is 65 miles an hour at this point. Here's the actual overall forecast for the rainfall. So this moderate has pushed a lot further inland into Pennsylvania now, all across more portions of northern New Jersey, and as well as moderate has been pushed into Rhode Island and much of eastern Connecticut. I actually said in my video they should push it eastward, and they finally did. So Jim Cantore is obviously, we got a Twitter video that he is now a Narragansett at this point. But yeah, obviously expected to really weaken a lot as it goes into the Appalachian Mountains and portions of the Appalachian Trails, and overall getting hit really bad by dry air as it makes its way inland. Let's see if we have any newer reports here on GR2 analysts, and I don't think we have any new reports. Obviously, we do actually have a flash flood warning now. Actually, let's actually look at that report there in New Jersey. That was a while ago, but let's see here. Bernard Lake is overflowing its banks. Main Street is closed. 3 feet of water in nearby residents. That is absolutely just mental. 3 feet of water. It's probably way over flood season at that point. But yeah, for those who are just joining the stream, I recommend you guys do share the stream. Let's see what this is here. Let's see. Actually, I got another link here from Discord. I do apologize. I'm getting a ton of links here. So here's a look here at the actual, some wind reports here, some stations within 65 miles of this landfall. So you can kind of see 31 miles an hour there near Rose Island, 49 near Buzzards Bay Buoy, 40 there near Block Island Jetty. Actually, I just showed you guys Block Island Jetty not too long ago on the Buoy Center, and 29 there. So you can kind of see the really intense winds were really not too long ago. Actually, saw some really strong east northeasterlies. And then you're starting to see them going west northwesterly, so you can kind of see that strong counterclockwise flow. But yeah, this is we're gonna keep a very close eye on what we see so far. But yeah, we're gonna see if we can get any more damage reports or even tree reports later in the future here. But let's see if I can actually show you guys radar scope here. We do actually have again 3. Actually, no, that actually just increased here. Now getting up to 4 inches per hour just off the coast here. So we're about to see the worst of the rainfall. We're about to see the worst of the rainfall happening right now here across Rhode Island here. 4 inch per hour. I mean, 4 inch per hour is absolutely mental just off the coast here. And it's most likely going to make its way into the general region very, very soon here. So if you're near there, eastern Connecticut, and portions obviously of Rhode Island, you guys have to really keep a close eye on this. That's absolutely mental. 4 inches per hour. That is basically 8 inches of rain within 2 hours. That will obviously, for those who did not see what happened in Tennessee yesterday, near Nashville, that's exactly what would happen. We have another massive tree that has fallen near Charlestown, Rhode Island. I mean, absolutely mental. I mean, Charlestown is getting absolutely hammered. Let me actually pull up Google Maps for those who don't know where Charlestown is, because it's actually just off the coast here of Rhode Island here. It's actually, yeah, just off the coast. So Charlestown is getting absolutely hammered. So let me go to Charlestown, Rhode Island here. Let's see what they have. There we go. So here to look at Charlestown. Here it is right here, basically, just off the coast of Rhode Island. Charlestown's right here. And this was actually, let's see here. Let me actually put that right here really quickly here. This is actually reported there on Route 1 North here on Rhode Island. It's completely blocked here. So let's see if we can actually find that general vicinity here. Let's actually see if we can actually look that up here. So let's actually look Route 1 North. There it is. So here's US Route 1. So basically, it was probably reported to be down just across this general vicinity here. So there's that massive tree completely blocking the highway. So here's the vicinity where we're seeing overall the worst tree damage, or at least the reports of tree damage is happening basically in south central Rhode Island. That's obviously actually a buoy. Actually, I believe we saw a buoy just off Rhode Island that actually reported over 50 knots. So it looks like Charlestown is getting absolutely hammered again. This is a Route 1 North a pretty large interstate that goes directly through Charlestown, and then obviously makes its way towards Providence, and as well, it leaks out to Newport. So, I mean, if you guys are in the general vicinity of southern Rhode Island, it's just getting absolutely hammered here. Let's now get a look here at the near power outages, because obviously, as we see more and more tree damage, it makes me want to look more at the actual power outage numbers. So let's get a look at the power outage numbers here. If I can actually find what tab I'm going to use. There we go. There's the tab. I'm completely lost my tab. So remember, 25,000 basically. Let's see how high it is now. And oh my god, power outages are up to 32,000. Look at that. Now, basically, nearly over 30% out without power there, actually. You see Washington County, 25% out without power there. That is just absolutely crazy. 19,000 are out without power. And all of it, actually, with 2,000 are from the Block Island Power Company. And then 70,000 are actually National Grid. This is customers tracked. And the majority are actually from the National Grid, while 6 are out from Block Island Company. So it's really the National Grid here that's causing the widespread and huge jump in the power outages. But yeah, extremely widespread power outages. Now these power outages are getting it to Providence County now, the far northern part, over 2,000. Let's see what we have. Connecticut now, still nearly 8,000 there. New London at around 3,300 power outages. Let's see here. A few actually. Wait. Okay, I thought I said 7,500. Or sorry, 750,000 out without power in New Hampshire for a second. But Pennsylvania is at second at 15,000. California, 11,000. Then Connecticut and Massachusetts. I believe Connecticut and Massachusetts will start to surpass Pennsylvania and California very soon here. And I think Connecticut's going to get really hit extremely hard by the power outages very soon here, specifically as the soil becomes more saturated. Because look at all that rain coming in here. Look at all that rain coming in towards that region here. So I'm going to see over, let's see here, 1.25 to even numbers of over 1.75 inches per hour rate. And that's obviously heading directly for that flash flood warning here. And I believe at that point, we'll start to see some more flash flood warnings here continue across eastern Connecticut at this rate. Let's actually get a 3D look. I have not looked at 3D yet for this system, but let's get a look at 3D and see exactly what it looks like. Actually, that's actually the wrong one, actually. Here's like the 3D, though. Actually, that's a little bit far out that I wanted, but here's a look at 3D. So you can just see these are really strong or overall cloud covers here. If we actually play it, you can actually see the overall counterclockwise flow. If we go back here, you just see that really clockwise flow. I mean, that cloud cover is quite high, within around 30, actually a peak there of almost 40,000 ecotops. So overall, a really large amount of cloud cover across this general region here. Again, you can just see that counterclockwise flow. Here's like the actual northern view. You can kind of see, look at that counterclockwise flow. This thing's really getting to act together. I mean, at least for rainfall wise, you can just see all that. It's now really rapidly now moving over eastern Connecticut now. So it looks like the low circulation is actually right here within this general vicinity, right here, down here. So it looks like this low circulation is basically right here. And it's about to make landfall in probably portions of the Connecticut and Rhode Island border right there. And the reasoning why we're seeing this really a lot of reports from trees near Charlestown, Rhode Island, is because that's where they are under the northeast quadrant, where you typically see the strongest winds in that general quadrant as well. What's up, Bobby? Long time no see here. So again, I recommend you guys would share this stream to friends and family, because obviously the more viewers we actually have within this stream here, the more YouTube will recommend it towards other people, which obviously means more access to information. That's exactly what we want. We want as many people to be informed within this system. And we're about to hit the 40-minute mark for the stream here. But here's a look here. It's about to make landfall probably within the Connecticut and Rhode Island border. You can kind of see a lot of that. Those decibels are really dropping as the storm is weakening here, but again, still bringing a very widespread flooding there. There you see, not really no lightning reports at all there in that general vicinity on visible, but again, a ton of rain is about to head towards the general area of eastern Connecticut, up to 4 inches per hour. 32,000 without power there in Rhode Island. I believe that will continue to really spike up now. So 32,000, it's not refreshed yet. But here, look at the buoys. Just actually refresh the buoy information here, so we have any latest reports here. So we actually have a gust here at the 46 knots with this buoy right here, and that buoy is just south of Rhode Island right there. So that buoy, right, this is the buoy right here. Let's see here, BUZM3, Buzzards Bay, Massachusetts. Actually, it's actually Massachusetts, but it's just outside of Rhode Island. And actually, they have 46 knots wind gusts here. And actually, they have up to 50 now, actually, as of 10 a.m. They actually picked up to 50 knots. So, really strong winds there, even across just outside of southeastern Massachusetts here. See if we actually have any, see what this booby has information-wise near Rhode Island. This one actually had 41 knots. And actually picked up, let's see now, right now in the upper 30s at this point. But, I mean, we're starting to see some good gusts up to 50 or even 60 miles an hour. But yeah, keeping a very close eye on this system. For those who are just joining in, we are tracking Tropical Storm HENRI. Let's see if we actually get a look here at, I actually want to see if Montauk is back. I hope Montauk is back, because that was showing you how intense it was. I mean, Montauk was just getting absolutely hammered here. Hopefully it's back up. And it's back up. Oh my gosh. Let's go. Montauk is back up, ladies and gentlemen. And let's actually put it back where it's supposed to be. So let's actually move this down real quickly here where it's supposed to be. Let's now move that like that, like that. And then let's get Montauk back up and running here. So let's do Montauk. I mean, they're getting absolutely just hammered right now. I mean, look at that. Look at that. They're just getting absolutely hammered there in Montauk. I mean, look at those really strong waves right there. I mean, that's just really wearing out that that really sidewalk there, and that nice view you typically see on a sunny day. Is that just getting absolutely hammered by rain? And I mean, it's just water and water and water and water going over that walkway. I mean, that's just absolutely mental there. That's obviously for Montauk, Long Island, which is obviously in the far eastern side there, which is basically getting absolutely just hammered by that rain. At least they were getting hammered by that rain. Looks like it's starting to calm down a little bit there. But again, starting to see still pretty good amount of rain, probably just around probably a tenth of an inch to maybe a quarter of an inch there per hour. But the worst of the rain is now advancing further northwestward, as this system is as well, moving northwestward as it heads for the general vicinity there of eastern Connecticut. So keeping a very close eye if you're in that vicinity. And again, we do all those flash flood warnings there in New Jersey have been, I believe they've all been canceled there. Yeah, they've all been canceled as the rain is pushing further northward into New York City there. But we now have flash flood warnings there across portions of southeastern Connecticut for New London County, I believe so. Yeah, southern New London County and southern Connecticut. So again, flash flooding of small creeks and streams and urban areas, highways, streets, and underpasses as well. Other port drainage and low-lying areas. So that's exactly where we're really watching out for the main threat there for the flooding threats. But again, overall, some pretty strong winds associated within the system here. Obviously, getting up to, I believe, let's see here, gusts up to 75. I think that there at least was a report up to 75 earlier on here, which I actually saw tweets, and I think I lost it there. But yeah, we're getting some pretty overall strong winds continuing across the general vicinity here. Those really strong straight line winds that are going counterclockwise are now really moving in there across portions of southern and southeastern Connecticut. So I would not doubt we start to get some more damage reports across southern Connecticut. So again, this is actually a look that was posted an hour ago, but this is a look here at portion. I believe this is Massachusetts or Connecticut. Actually, no, I believe this is Rhode Island. Let's see here. This is actually in Watch Hill near the Yacht Club. So I'm actually not familiar where that actually is state-wise, but here's a look at the overall damage here and overall flash flooding from the storm surge. So I mean, all that parking lot's basically completely covered in water. So if we can refresh and get any more information or any more damage pictures, again, we start to see a lot more I guess, reports, and I'm starting to see a lot more tree damage within further inland areas. Actually, we've seen a lot of them centered specifically near Charlestown, but here, look here at the Narragansett Coast Guard House. I mean, look at that. Actually, I believe this is where Jim Cantori is. I believe Jim Cantori is actually at the top. Yeah, that's Jim Cantori right there. So just as Jim Cantori here at the top of the Coast Guard House in Narragansett. And just to look, actually, we saw a video. That person down here, I believe, was the one recording him. And here he is. You can see really strong winds. Really strong winds. And as well, overall, really nasty and choppy waters. Really kind of just pounding on those rocks and on the coast here and on that kind of little wall right there. So just slamming to the rocks here. Thankfully, the waves shouldn't be large enough, specifically in this region, to really cause widespread storm surge. Has a really big area to watch. Our storm surge is going to continue to be across portions there of far southeastern Connecticut and portion there of Long Island as well. So yeah, here's a look at the actual video from Jim Cantori. Here's that 3 hours ago, Sunday at 8 a.m. from Block Island near Town Beach winds. This is actually a few hours ago. Actually, it's where the holy cow. Wow, look at that really strong wind there near Block Island. So actually, a few hours ago, the worst of it was over Block Island, which is, I believe, on Long Island. No, Block Island, I believe, is actually on Rhode Island. So you can kind of see all this is starting to push further northwestward. So starting to see these conditions there are across portions of Connecticut. I mean, just look at that right here. Really strong gusts up to 50 miles an hour right here. I mean, that's just absolutely crazy here. That is just absolutely mental what we're seeing right here. That was again at 8 a.m. Eastern time. That's where the worst of it was over Long Island. Let's see here. I'm starting to get some more DMs here across Twitter. Let's see here. So actually, looks like Point Judith, Rhode Island, actually really seeing gusts at 70 miles an hour. Look at that right here, guys. It looks like Point Judith, Rhode Island, recently gusted to 70 miles an hour per weather flow measurement site. So look at 54.8 miles an hour. Look at that, 64.9 miles an hour gust. I mean, look at that. That is right there, just not far from Charlestown. Let's actually see if we can get a look at the buoy there. Let's actually see if we can get a buoy there, down there near southern Rhode Island. Let's see here if we can get any buoys here. So let's get a look here at, let's see here if we can get any look at buoys. There we go. So let's see if we have any buoys down there, near that Connecticut region. Actually, I think there's one. There's not really one actually in that actual area itself here. But yeah, there is a few buoys down here that are actually, let's see here, gusting at this 28 knots there. This one down here is gusting to 46 knots. So actually, this one's quite interesting. Let's actually look at this one. This one down here near southern Rhode Island near the Massachusetts border is actually gusting to 46 knots and actually gusts at the 50 knots. So I'm watching that for that one. It's really strong winds going on over there. Let's see here. So it looks like there's 44,000 without power now within the Rhode Island. Let's actually get a look at that. Let's see here. There's 44,000. And actually, it's 39,000. I mean, look at these numbers are continuing to go up here. Look at that. So I believe it was like 25% without power in Washington County, and now it's 35% without power. Holy cow. That number completely just jumped up there. 35% without power in Washington County. That is just absolutely crazy here. 35% without power. It was just 25%, and now it is 35%. So that's just showing you how that national grid is just really losing a lot of power here, just really widespread across southern Rhode Island there. Looks like Massachusetts is remaining at 4,000, and Connecticut is slowly increasing here as the worst of it is heading towards that vicinity. So again, these numbers are continuing to really skyrocket across Rhode Island as those really strong gusts are continuing to move further inland. So here's a look here at the actual rain rate per hour, and we still have 5 inches per hour just off the coast here, and starting to see now up to 1.5 to possibly nearly 2 inches per hour, so they become more inland. into the areas of southeastern Connecticut. That's the reason why that moderate risk for flash flooding has pushed further inland here, or that flash flood warning has been pushed into Connecticut. So here's like the actual, an hour ago, we saw some pretty good damage there. And let's see here, this is actually, let's see if they're actually, I believe this is in Connecticut here, because it says weather in Connecticut. So yeah, it looks like this is in Connecticut here. You saw some really large trees kind of becoming really widespread as they fall. You kind of see as well that there's probably some power outages, pretty widespread now. So let's actually refresh this Twitter page and see if we get any more images there of damage. So let's see here, wind damage and flooding reports so far. So let's see here. So there's been obviously a ton of flooding reports specifically centered across New Jersey there and New York City, and there's obviously been a ton of tropical reports there across Rhode Island specifically, but those reports have become more common now into portions of Connecticut. Let's see here, Emergency Ops Center in New London, the Eye of Henry could hit here or nearby, expecting peak winds up to 70 miles an hour at around 2 p.m. Some tree and wire damage already, so you can kind of see, listen, really watching out for a landfall there in southeastern Connecticut instead of Rhode Island here. So completely really avoided a landfall in Long Island. So brought some pretty big effects like we saw in Montauk and as well even in Rhode Island. But let's see here. May everyone keep safe and dry during Tropical Storm Henri. Pictured here, 1944 hurricane damage to an oath house there in West Yarmouth, Massachusetts here. So actually, I've seen a lot of people actually really compare this towards Bob of 1991, which made landfall as a Category 2 in Rhode Island there. But yeah, keeping a very, very close eye on all of this. So far, I've not seen any new pictures. Actually, no, I have a new picture right here, actually. Let me pull this up real quick. So, once again, more and more damage centered across areas in Rhode Island there. Look at Richmond, Rhode Island now. This is a picture from Richmond. These massive branches is absolutely just really just falling apart. I mean, they're just getting ripped apart here. I mean, we've seen obviously full oaks fall onto, I believe, was it Interstate 1 in Charlestown, and now we're seeing here near Richmond a just massive tree. Actually, trees, you can see more than one tree just aligned. See just all of this tree damage here, and power outages are down. I believe this is actually the power line right here, and obviously another power line right here. It looks like at least one line has fallen as well. So, I mean, this is the reason why all these power outages are just really rolling in at this point. Let's see here. I mean, look at this. Look at this. This is New Bedford, Massachusetts there. Massive tree down as well here. So actually, I'm going to copy this link real quick. I'm actually going to copy image address. But, I mean, just look at that. A large tree down within New Bedford. So, as well, continue to see this across Massachusetts as well. And not just Rhode Island. As well, going to continue to see this as well across Connecticut. So, it's going to be pretty widespread tree damage. And it's going to allow for really, really widespread power outages. So yeah, that's a look at that here. I did not mean to look at Walking Dead. That would have been really bad if I showed Walking Dead for those. But look at that. Winter Ferocious here. So far, so good on the home front. Coming to now join Matt NBC Boston. Hopefully you both get to call it today. But look at that. Really strong winds of the American flag. Just really, really getting pulled there by the northwesterlies, or it looks like the northeasterlies at least are really blowing that flag a lot. So let's see here. Actually, we have a report here of trees down. So look at that. We do actually have a report of. Let's see here. 3 miles northwest of Waterford, Connecticut. Tree damage and tree limbs down on blocking roadway. Limbs 4 to 6 inches diameter. That's actually pretty large diameter considering the branches here. But you can kind of see as well. No, there hasn't really been much tweets from Spotter Network, but I'm going to keep a very, very close eye on that, on their tweets actually. So I'm actually going to put their tweets separately because obviously they're pretty useful. Pretty useful. So, what's up, everybody? For those who are joining the stream, I recommend you guys do share the stream with many friends and family. Again, I'm keeping a very, very close eye on this Tropical Storm Henri. So, keeping a very, very, very close eye on that. So, for those who are in the Northeast here or New England, I recommend you guys do share this with friends and family so we can get as many people as aware of the system. Although It's not a crazy hurricane. It's still pretty significant. Still seeing some pretty widespread power outages as well. It's actually refreshed. And now 44,000 are now without power there in Rhode Island. So this number is continuing to increase here. I mean, it looks like that we're getting like nearly 60%. At least higher. 41%. Actually, 42% now without power now across Washington County. It was just 35%. So this is just really increasing. That's just absolutely mental how fast this power outages are just becoming more and more widespread here. That's just absolutely mental. Absolutely mental. Obviously 30,000 of that is from the national grid. While 7 are from the Block Island Power Company. So basically almost all of them are coming from the big power grid. But 42% without power in Washington County there. And now 10,000 nearly without power in Newport County. Actually, my aunt lives in Newport. So hopefully they're alright. But yeah, again, we are now continuing to see the numbers slowly rising in Connecticut. Now, looks like, where did Massachusetts go? It looks like Massachusetts has been surpassed by Florida. So Massachusetts has been surpassed by Florida, which is not even getting hit by this. Let's take a look here at the actual Block Island here. The current conditions actually refresh. Again, Block Island will start to now get out of the worst of it. You see, only gusts up to 7 miles an hour. So they're starting to get out of the neck of the woods here. Obviously, if we can actually get a look at radar here, if it actually loads for us, you see they're kind of getting out of the neck of the woods here. I mean, they got hit really hard, like at 8 a.m. here, but they're now kind of really out of the woods here. It's now heading for Connecticut, and Connecticut specifically here, even though Rhode Island is really getting hit hard at this point. But as well, look at Montauk, still gusting up to 33 miles an hour. So they're still getting some pretty strong gusts here overall. They're about to start to really slow down within the intensity here, but they're still getting some pretty strong winds within that counterclockwise flow. But obviously, if you go towards Block Island, it's obviously a complete different scenario, because obviously the further west you kind of are at this point, kind of like the stronger winds you're going to start really getting here. But yeah, let's look at what we saw so far. But let's now get a look here at the reports so far. Actually, we now have reports here of now, let's see here, 58 miles an hour gust there just south of Newport, I believe so. Actually, no, Newport's up here, or not Newport, sorry, I meant Charlestown, actually. But yeah, 58 miles an hour there near Washington County. And then another one up to 70 miles an hour, actually. This is a non-thunderstorm. This is a non, obviously, thunderstorm related. This is obviously tropical related. So we actually have a 70 mile an hour wind gust here reported there across Washington. I'm actually going to take a picture of that real quickly, guys, so I can show other people. But yeah, we actually have a 70 mile an hour wind report here, gust-wise, for southern Rhode Island there. So, but yeah, we have a 70 mile an hour non-thunderstorm related gust here. This is obviously odd tropical related here. But yeah, keeping a very close eye. For those who are just joining the stream, we are continuing to have a very close eye on a tropical storm HENRI. Keeping a very close eye on the system, obviously. Power outage becoming more widespread. Seeing some really good gusts there, 70 miles an hour right there across Point Judith. And then 68 mile an hour wind gusts there near Newport, actually just to the west of Newport there as well. So we're starting to see some more gusts. And then we have here a tropical report not too long ago, actually, just reported there near Rhode Island, Connecticut border. Atlantic Avenue impassable up to First Street due to flooding from a combination of surge and heavy rainfall. So it looks like far southwestern Rhode Island and far southeastern Connecticut is getting hit the hardest here. So Atlantic Avenue is impassable. So really, roads are becoming more impassable to drive in. So this is obviously something to keep a close eye on. I would not definitely not recommend driving whatsoever in this. And as well, even seeing here, tree down on South Street at Breakneck Hill. road. So I mean, we're starting to see these reports really spilling in here. I mean, that's just absolutely crazy here. Uh, that's just absolutely mental. I mean, look at all these wind reports here: 65 miles an hour. Actually, that's 68, 70 miles an hour, 58, and then 68 near Newport. Um, this is just absolutely just really unfolding quite quickly here, even though it's about to make landfall. Uh, this is just absolutely crazy here. And actually, with that latest report near Newport, I actually want to get a look at the buoy right there. I know we have a buoy information down there somewhere. Let's get a look at the actual buoy. Let's refresh this. So I know we have a buoy somewhere. I know we have a buoy somewhere near Newport. Let's get a look at that, because I actually want to get a look at that information right there and see if we have it popping up right here. So yeah, there's actually one right here near Newport. Let's see here which one worked the best, actually. I think this one might work actually pretty good. See what this buoy is picking up here. So there's actually been no data there for within 8 hours. Looks like that buoy's down. See what this buoy has to say for us here. It's pretty close to that report, and it looks like they don't have any wind information whatsoever. So it looks like a lot of the buoys are actually down here, except this one. Actually, this one, I think the only really good one we have so far here. So they don't have anything close to 70 miles an hour gusts yet. So at least let's actually get closer to the Connecticut border. Sorry, the Massachusetts border, not Connecticut, near the Massachusetts border. But let's actually look at this one right here. This one, gusting at the 42 knots. Actually, this one may be the buoy closest to that report of 70 miles an hour. So this one has 42 knots, to basically around there. This one's the closest buoy that actually has the actual gust close to 70 miles an hour or so. But again, we are having buoys that are still picking up nearly 50 plus mile an hour wind gust here, which is obviously still pretty significant considering the amount of rain we're seeing here. But you see a lot of wind reports are starting to really spill in here. Yeah, a lot of wind reports are starting to spill in here. So, speaking of the flooding and all that, now we actually do have Eastern Beach Road in Westport is now closed due to high surf. Yep, that road is closed there due to high surf here. You can see the really strong wind gust there as well. So yeah, I mean, there's not really much of actually any like walls really preventing that waves from actually going far inland here, or actually inland at all. So that's something quite interesting here. There really wasn't much like a big wall like we saw there in Narragansett. But yeah, that's just absolutely mental. I mean, these power outages are going to continue to really increase a lot. But yeah, the buoys are really showing us some pretty good information there. Anywhere from 50 to 60 miles an hour wind gust here. With obviously, actually, there was a report of 70 according to the National Weather Service from Boston. So let's go look here. Let's actually close that Twitter here. So again, here's a look at the actual Montauk live camera here. You just need this. They're just getting absolutely hammered by that rain here. So even Montauk is still getting really hit hard, even though it's kind of moving pretty far inland here. But let's now get a look here at the power outages here. And oh my, they're up to 59,000 there, and Connecticut now has really now Connecticut is really increasing now as well. They're now up to 11,000, and we just saw that tweet not too long ago, like a few minutes ago, where they had like the Connecticut report or the Connecticut threat for power outages here. I wonder if I can find it again. But there was a tweet here saying like northeastern Connecticut very well get the hardest hit by the power outages, and it looks like it's probably gonna pretty well verified. But like I did say, this could very well be a pretty historic power outage event for Connecticut and Rhode Island. Again, they typically don't have the best power outage system. Just look at the national grid in Rhode Island there, almost 60,000 without power. Holy cow, 60% of the customers are out without power in Washington County, with now Newport is now, let's see here, Newport's is at 25%. And then now Kent County is now, let's see here, at 4%. So Washington County has now basically at 60%. That is just absolutely mental. That is just absolutely mental. Because just a few minutes ago, maybe like 15 minutes ago, it was only like 24%, and now it's 60%. That's just absolutely just crazy. That is just absolutely crazy. I mean, who knows if we can get like into like the 80s or 90%. That would just be mental. That is just absolutely mental. We have another tree now down for Richmond, Rhode Island. So Southern Rhode Island is just getting absolutely hammered here. I mean, look at that. Another picture from Richmond. A massive tree there. That's a massive tree. I mean, these are extremely large trees we're talking about here. Here's another picture here from Boston, Norton, and Skywarn. You can see as well, power lines are down here near Dartmouth. So as well, really seeing some pretty widespread power outages as well. Other pretty big tree there, and as well power lines down as well. Here's a look here again. We just saw a few minutes ago, which I showed you guys. Charlestown as well is really getting hit quite hard. So the Rhode Island region is just really getting hit quite hard here. Here's a look at Narragansett, and I believe, let's see here. I believe we have Jim Cantori somewhere within this general vicinity here, but you can kind of see the really gusty winds here in the general vicinity here. You can kind of see those really gusty winds. Probably gusting up to maybe 45 in that general vicinity. But yeah, really keeping a very close eye on that. As well, again, New Bedford as well got hit quite hard. I mean, look at 2 hours ago, parking lot in Wickford as well. So let's see some pretty significant flooding as well. So I mean, this is definitely really unfolding here. Gonna start seeing some more trees down, some more, just more threats. I mean, that's the way to put it here. Just more gusts, more tree reports, more power outages. I mean, it's unfolding as it goes inland here. Here's another picture here of a pretty big tree, within Richmond, Rhode Island, which I believe is not too far from Charlestown. So we kind of have a overall, I guess, center, or at least the overall, I guess, outbreak of the current reports right now of trees. That the worst of it's happening across southern Rhode Island here. So let's see, Richmond, Rhode Island here. So let's actually see if I can get a look here at where that actually is really quickly here. Because I believe that's rather close to, that's pretty rather close there towards, yeah, Richmond Island there. Or actually, no, that's Richmond. It's not Richmond Island. It's Richmond. There we go. It's Richmond. That's actually not it either. I'm trying to. There's like so many Richmonds. There it is. There it is. Okay, so yeah, it's basically not too far from Newport actually. So we're starting to see those reports really kind of come in now near the Newport region as well. Actually, we did just get as well a 68 mile gust there near Newport, not far from Richmond as well. So it's obviously probably the reasoning why we're seeing a lot of those reports starting to come in there. But yeah, starting to see the thing really unfold here. I mean, let's actually get a look at the National Hurricane Center. I wouldn't doubt we start to get a special advisory soon if this makes landfall rather soon here. Let's actually refresh. And all right, here's the new storm surge forecast down to 2 to 4 feet, no longer 3 to 5 feet. So I guess I forgot to refresh that. So let's see here. Center of HENRI here is as of, let's see, this is actually, I believe, as of 11 a.m. Center of HENRI, passing close to Block Island as the storm heads for southern New England. Dangerous storm surge, strong gusty winds and flooding rainfall are expected across portions of northeastern United States here. But yeah, I mean, it still has not made landfall officially, but there it is, 60 miles an hour now and 987 millibars. So if this has not made landfall yet, it's going to make landfall rather weak. That's only 60 miles an hour. And actually, I kind of thought I was going to make landfall rather weak, but actually it says 65. But yeah, see if we have any new tweets there from Spotter Network. And let's see here if there's any new reports of anything new. Doesn't look like there's anything crazy new within Spotter Network. But yeah, I mean, just look at Montauk, just getting absolutely hammered there within those waves. Let's get a look at Montauk and the actual conditions, see what they have so far. And they are still gusting up to 33. Oh my god, look at that wave right there. That's a massive gust right there that we just saw. Let's actually pull some full image here. I want to show you guys this full image there of Montauk so you guys can get a general idea how bad it is there. I mean, look at those really strong and large waves just really just messing up that sidewalk really bad here. I mean, thankfully we have a webcam right there because that's obviously quite useful. But yeah, this is just getting absolutely crazy. I mean, look at this. Let's just look at it's just absolutely crazy there. Your Montauk. So we've now been streaming here for about an hour and 10 minutes here. So this is about to officially make landfall rather soon here. I would not doubt we get special advisory. Let's actually get a look here at recon data. So let's go back. Let's put this back to where it's supposed to be. Let's do that. There we go. So let's go back to now, see if we can get a look at the recon information here and see what they have so far. Not just recon so far yet, but there they have 989 millibars. Let's see here. Again, this thing has rapidly weakened, as you can tell. Partially because of the really cold SSTs, dryer getting into the system, and land interaction, really. So, yeah, we're not even getting winds supporting, like, over 60. I mean, over 60. So there it is, only at 50 knots there. I mean, even flight level didn't support, like, 65 miles an hour. So things really weakened. I would not doubt. Obviously, there's no 55, but this thing, if there were 55, it probably would be 55. But obviously, you can't convert that from knots to miles an hour. Let's get a look here at the information here. So 989 millibars at surface with 21 knots of wind. So that's obviously going to translate to 987 millibars. So that's that, 987. Looks like there's a low circulation right here, kind of heading towards portions of the Connecticut and Rhode Island border. So it's going to definitely bring a pretty significant effect. So let's get a look at the actual rain rate and where it is at right now, number-wise. It has decreased now to only 2.5, and we're seeing numbers anywhere from 1.25 to 1.5 inches per hour there across that flash flood warning in southern Connecticut there. Let's take a look at the power outages again. I want to check this frequently. And let's see here. 67,000. Oh my gosh. 67,000 without power across Rhode Island. I mean, I'm even scared to just look at Washington County. 47,000 without power there in Washington. 65.2%. 65.2% are out without power in Washington County. That is absolutely mental. They're getting absolutely hammered. Let's look at Connecticut. How about Connecticut? Now, Connecticut is at 13,000 now. So they're as well as starting to slowly increase here. New London at now 6% without power. Let's see here. Windham is at as well 5% without power. So we're going to have to really monitor as well Connecticut very soon here. Massachusetts has really not increased whatsoever. New York, again, obviously we have a few without power there across Long Island specifically there. Here, Suffolk up to really 1,300 without power, but those power outages are starting to not really widespread whatsoever, since it obviously avoided Long Island specifically with the strongest winds in the northeast quadrant, specifically centered across Rhode Island. But yeah, let's now go look at some Twitter. If there's any more Twitter videos or reports or anything like that, so let's go to videos and see if there's any videos of damage or storm surge or anything like that here. So let's see if we have anything crazy. And there's actually let me just look at chocolates from HENRI or HENRI and see if anything like that pops up. Let's see here. Yeah, this is all rather old. So let's look at latest. So I see the see here meteorologist breaking that down. I see Rhode Island is trending hurricane / tropical storm. HENRI is basically a powerful nor'easter for us, so we're used to this kind of weather here. Difference is trees have leaves, as there is power outages everywhere, knocking on wood here. So again, obviously trees are a lot heavier now, the leaves here and all that. So that's obviously going to be a pretty big factor. Looks like someone's enjoying the wind here with Henri. Let's just hope that they kind of stay out of that water. So let's see here. Tropical storm downgraded ahead of landfall, but still presents a danger. So again, it has been downgraded to 60 miles an hour instead of 65. So nothing crazy. Looks like we don't have anything too much. Again, over 74,000 electric customers are without power from Tropical Storm Henri. That number is continuing to climb quickly. So, I mean, look at that. This is absolutely mental. Absolutely crazy what's happening there across Washington County specifically. But yeah, this is just quite crazy for sure. Alright, so let's now get a look here at, I'm actually going to take away Block Island since they're kind of really diminishing away from the worst condition. But, I mean, Montauk is still getting absolutely hammered here. 33 miles an hour gust with 24 miles an hour sustained. And there you see it's really heading for portions of Rhode Island and Connecticut at this point. So that's interesting as well. Let's see here. So let's actually get a comparison here towards Montauk Bay to how it is now and what it was yesterday. So here's a look at the comparison. So that's yesterday, right? Look how you can actually see the actual stands at the very bottom there. The stands that are supporting this right there. You can see all that, right? Look at that. But where is that now? That is completely submerged underwater. So it looks like that has risen anywhere from 2 to 3 feet of water there. So that is absolutely mental. And actually, I actually have a webcam right now for Montauk, and there it is right there. I mean, you can't see the stands whatsoever. You can't see it at all. That's just absolutely mental. That is just absolutely mental. Again, the rain rate's now really increasing here, or at least it's decreasing compared to the past few hours, but it's obviously increasing inland. Obviously, you kind of see now areas like Stonington, getting close to New London are getting hit quite hard with this rain. I mean, this is just absolutely mental. Looks like this camera is down again near Montauk, and no, it's not. But look at that, the stands. You can't even see the stands at all. I mean, it's basically like additional 2 to 3 feet than what it was yesterday. That's just absolutely crazy, if I'm being completely honest. I've not eaten so far today, so you may hear me eating a few snacks as we go through the live stream. So, it looks like we haven't got any new wind reports so far, at least as of now. So, that's interesting here, but we're going to start seeing just overall a lot of trees going down and all of that. So, we should get a landfall rather soon. I'd say within the next hour or so is where I watch out for a landfall. But, here's the latest look here at the National Hurricane Center Advisory. So, let's look at the arrival time of winds. And there you see, we're going to start seeing the arrival of the strongest winds there pretty far inland as around 2 o'clock Eastern time. So within the next 2 hours or so. The Weather Prediction Center has remained its moderate risk across its general region here over the next 3 days, or at least the next 3-day average. So obviously today is where the moderate is for millions of people, including New York City, Hartford, Albany, New York. It's including a ton of people there in that moderate risk. So millions of people have to keep a close eye on extreme flooding threats. Here's a look at the new rain, 1 to 3 day forecast and rain. And let's just say that New Jersey and New York has really increased here now near northern New Jersey and southern New York are now up to 6 to 10 inches of rain. So as well, watching out for areas far to the west to get extreme flooding there, as well as seeing an additional 4 to 6 across portions of Connecticut and Massachusetts, with probably over 6 to 10 inches across portions there of Connecticut and Massachusetts. That is just crazy. We're seeing a ton of rain expected across Massachusetts there and Connecticut. So a lot of the rain is to come still across the western portions of the state, but we're still looking at over nearly 4 inches left to come for Massachusetts and eastern Connecticut as well. Again, we've already seen over, like, I believe, like 3 or actually no, I think we've seen like over 3 inches already in this area, maybe 4 inches. So seeing an additional 2 to 4 inches obviously will cause extreme flash flooding, like we've already seen so far. But let's see here, Hurricane Henry was downgraded. Oops, that's not what I wanted. This doesn't take me to a website, but Hurricane Henry was obviously downgraded. Look at this here. Some of the highest gusts we've seen so far. So Point Juice actually is so far the highest wind gust we've seen so far today at 70 miles an hour with 63 there near New Shore. I believe near as obviously I believe in let's see here. What island is that? I believe I actually forgot the actual island itself, the name, but let's see here. But that's 70 miles an hour reported there near southern portion there of Rhode Island, with 58 there across the southeastern portion of the state, or sorry, southwestern portion of the state, and then we saw 63 early at around 8 a.m. there near New Shoreham. So keeping a really close eye on real estate. Let's get a look at the actual power outage numbers here. So they are at 59,000. Oh my god. Wow. Rhode Island is now at 71,000 without power. And 51,000 without power in Washington County. And 71% are without power there. 71%. That's just absolutely, I mean, that's basically trending to get as high as nearly 90+% without power there. That is just absolutely mental what's happening right now. That we're seeing tons and tons without power, obviously off the national grid. So 71 without power there across Washington County, which is obviously the far southern county there of Rhode Island, bordering Newport County. Newport remained at around 25%, and now the let's see here. I believe this is Kent County is now increasing slightly, now up to 9% without power. Connecticut remains quite the same as well. They have not really increased really at all. Rhode Island, though, is just getting absolutely hammered. I mean, absolutely hammered by this. This is no fun to watch whatsoever. They are just getting absolutely hammered by this system. I mean, and obviously, we're going to start seeing those numbers quite soon as this actually makes landfall and goes all through Connecticut. I can guarantee those numbers will really increase in Connecticut. I would not doubt Connecticut is very similar at the end of the day with Rhode Island's power outages. But yeah, we're keeping a very close eye on this. So if you be any more of those on Twitter. So not much happening where this person is yet. Again, there's not much of new images, at least what I've seen so far on Twitter. It looks like the New York homecoming concert was canceled Hurricane is downgraded as a tropical storm. Let's see here. Yeah, looks like there's a. Let's see here. Some New York City concert or is dramatically canceled as Hurricane Henri is obviously getting close towards New York City there and bringing some pretty overall nasty impacts. Oh, look at that! Look at that! Really big flame there, right there. Actually, some really significant power. Very significant flooding there. Look at this. This is here a tree fallen near North Main, Stonington. This here is let's see here. This is near Fairfield. And let's see if we can get where that picture was taken there. All right, look at this one. Actually, this is near Stonington as well. So Stonington's getting hit quite hard as well. Like I say, we're getting hit quite hard a few hours ago. Again, this is as well Stonington. And I don't think we have a picture there of the actual picture we looked at, but that is looks like here parts of Connecticut under hurricane watch as tropical storm Henri. And parts of Connecticut shoreline are under hurricane watch this weekend. But again, here's a look at the strongest reports there of wind 70 miles an hour near Point Judith. So we did actually get a 70 mile an hour wind gust. So that's absolutely quite mental as well. That's absolutely crazy. I haven't seen any new photos yet of but let's not get a look here at the latest National Hurricane Center update here again. Let's get a look here at the actual flooding risk. So again, here's the rain we're looking at. Again, numbers have really become more widespread to the western areas. Again, looking at overall extremely widespread flooding across portions there of Connecticut, Long Island, specifically as well, seeing a pretty massive jump in numbers here as these outer bandings are bringing some really significant rain and more significant than expected across portions there of New York and New Jersey, 6 to 10 inches of rain there. So if you're like near Newark there, if you're near overall southern right here near the Appalachian Mountains there, I would definitely keep a very close eye on it and stay out of your car. Do not drive anywhere. Do not go on the road. Because sometimes you think a puddle's a puddle, but it's a huge stream of water. And that's obviously something you want to prevent here, specifically as the storm goes closer and closer to your vicinity. Here look at the actual winds. Obviously, we've seen tropical storm winds sustained already from eastern Long Island to portions there of southeastern Massachusetts near Cape Cod. So again, pretty widespread tropical storm winds sustained, with obviously near, I believe Point Judith, we saw 70 miles an hour. But look at Montauk just getting absolutely hammered still. I mean, the waves are not coming down whatsoever. So let's take a look here at Recon though. I believe this thing's getting really close. Let's see if Recon's going to verify if it's really close to landfall. And look at that. So it looks like the low circulation is probably, I'd say, probably 15 to 20 miles. 15 to 20 miles off the coast there. Picked up 990 millibars right there. See what they have pressure-wise, 990 millibars with 21 knots, so 988 actually, at least based on that. Some overall decent temperatures. Let's see here. Yeah, they're about to go for they're about to go again within the actual LLC here, and it looks like this could very well get extremely close. Extremely close to Rhode Island here. I believe this will be the first Rhode Island landfall or Connecticut landfall since Bob of 1991, which I believe was a Category 2, and it was extremely historic. Pressure there. They're actually over Long Island at this point, 1,004 millibars, 1,001 millibars. So they're getting closer and closer to the actual area. So they're actually going over Long Island at this point, and they're about to get into the main area to see where the pressure is basically right here. So they're about to get in there. So we're about to get some crucial recon data, whether the thing's extremely close to landfall, whether it's already made one or not. But I think this has not made landfall, and I don't think it will make landfall for like another hour or so. They are getting up to now around 50-ish, actually now around 45 knots, with actually rain rate going extremely quickly. They're really increasing the rain rate, some contamination with that rain rate. But again, 1,002 millibars as of now. Peak 10-second winds at 37 knots, which is basically around 45 miles an hour. So not incredibly crazy what we're seeing so far. But again, still not in the low circulation just yet. So let's see here. So Boston Museum of Science closed due to tropical storm Henri. Again, let's see here. Look at this. Got some damage photos there. Snuck out during a break in the Henri and got a few pictures. Let's see what this has. Oh, actually, never mind. This is not damage. It's just pictures overall. You can kind of see. It's like I'm not sure that water's above flood stage or anything like that, but that's a picture there of a lake or a creek or something. I'm not even sure if that's the actual Atlantic Ocean. That's definitely not the Atlantic. It's probably, I mean, that could be maybe the mouth of a river or something like that. Maybe the Johns area. But again, let's see here. So here's actually a pretty big rundown of what's going on here. So there's a lot of dry air, obviously, kind of coming with the system, like I mentioned, the very, 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 very beginning of the system, or at the very beginning of the stream here. And actually, I can show you guys this actual dry air I'm talking about. Let's go to weathernerds.com. You guys can get a general idea here what I'm talking about. So let's get a closer zoom in here on Henri, and let's see what we're going to look at here. So let's see, what do we want to look at? So let's get a look at water vapor. And you can kind of just see a lot of dry air kind of really coming in from the northeast. Oops, that's not what I wanted. But let's redo that, actually. Let's do that. Update plot. And there we go. So we're going to get loop. Alright, it's loading as we speak here. But yeah, you're going to get the point here. If this even loads for us. There we go. So there you see extreme evaporation kind of going on there. And obviously it has decreased. But we saw good amount of evaporation overall, good amount of water vapor going on within the actual lower circulation across portion there of Long Island. At that point, it was 65 miles an hour, but obviously it's a lot weaker at 60, and I would not even doubt it's 50 very, very soon here. I mean, there are still winds that are supporting over 50, but obviously there's no 55, so it's kind of hard situations. It's either 50 or 60 there. That's the only thing you really do. And no 55, sadly. But there you see that flash flood warning there in that little polygon in southeastern Connecticut. And you kind of see there is a big bubble there of moisture, which is obviously kind of really falling apart and weakening because there's really dry air kind of right here. There's as well some dry air kind of sneak in this way. So there is some dry air coming in from that ridge, obviously associated with that ridge, which is to the east of the system, which is kind of bringing some dry air even sneaking its way in to this moisture bubble. And that's a big reason why this moisture bubble is really falling apart, because of that dry air trying to get into the system. Let's take a look here at GR2, see if anything new. And we actually have a new report here, a new tropical report. Let's see here. Route 214 closed in both directions at Albatross Drive with the tree and wires down on the road here. So that's very interesting here. Again, we're starting to see those really impacts start to come in there across portions of Connecticut, which is obviously very interesting. But yeah, there is some dry air, and obviously really cold SSCs are ruining the system, so it's really weakening before landfall. And again, this is going to be like kind of a Irene type system. Obviously, I believe what Irene was 65, I think. So it's obviously stronger than Irene at landfall. This is obviously weaker than Irene at landfall. So it's either like a comparison with Bob, considering the time frame and the location, but like strength-wise, it's kind of similar to Irene here. But yeah, that's kind of what we're seeing right now. You see still some really nasty impacts there. The waves have somewhat calmed down a little bit near Montauk. I mean, they were just mental when I first started streaming here. But yeah, I really would appreciate if you guys do share this stream with friends and family again. With the increasing amount of power outages across this region, it's likely that some people, just a ton of people, just will not have access to the cable information here. So that's why we have social media. So if you guys want your friends or family to be notified, or if you want to be notified and you live in the general region, I would recommend you guys subscribe to the channel and charge your phone before obviously their power outages, because obviously if you're in Rhode Island, then the power outages are going to keep up with you there. 53,000 without power there in Washington. So I would recommend that you share the stream as much as possible. I mean, 73% without power there across Washington County now. Connecticut as well are starting to increase here, so it's obviously starting to become more widespread of a threat. Now 20,000 without power in Connecticut, and now let's see here, 10% without power in New London. It was just 5%, and now let's see here, 11% without power in Wyndham, and that was as well just 5%. So even in Connecticut is starting to go on a increasing wave here of power outages. So again, guys, I recommend you guys keep a close eye out on the stream here. I'm going to continue try to keep you guys updated as much as possible within the system. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to stream here, because obviously I actually have plans later on in the day, and it's almost lunch and all that stuff. And at this point, we're going to continue to see these impacts and these reports for a while now, for hours to come. And at some point, I'm going to have to end the stream here. Right now, we're at, let's see here, an hour 35. I may end it rather soon here, especially since there's really no viewers at this point. So at this point, looks like a lot of people have already just finished watching the stream here. So looks like this stream's basically rather dead here. So I may have to end the stream rather soon, because maybe I can have a video out instead. We will see what happens. But again, really watching out for HENRI. Let's actually go look here at the actual 3D here again. We have not checked 3D in a little bit in a while though. Let's go look at 3D. So let's see how this looks like. Let's see how widespread and how high those cloud tops are. So let's get a pretty big look here. What we looked at. So you see, looks like the LLC is basically right here near the Connecticut border with Rhode Island. Right here, there's those really high cloud tops. And let's just go and just look at the rotation here. So let's go to the very far back, and let's just now look at that. Just really strong. You can just see this clearly has some counterclockwise rotation, and obviously rapidly moving towards the west here. So we start seeing a lot of that really heavy rain starting to make its way towards Hartford, and more into now a portion near New Haven, and at the point they start getting close to Stamford, and as well even LaGuardia and that general vicinity there, and Bronx and that general area. So keeping a very close eye on that. I am in Haverhill, and it is pouring. I actually don't know where Haverhill is. Let me actually check where Haverhill is. So Haverhill is in Massachusetts, and so yeah, you're actually near the Boston area. So yeah, you guys are getting some good outer bending right now. I believe you guys are only in a Marshall for flash flooding for today actually. Let me actually confirm that. Let's see here if that's actually true, and let's see here. Yeah, you guys are under a marginal, almost a slight there for flash flooding here. So you guys are going to continue to see some decent amount of rain here. Overall, an additional 1 to 2 inches could very well be possible. So keep a very close eye on that. So you shouldn't be getting the worst of it. Thankfully, you're pretty far north near Boston, so you should be just fine. Thankfully, the worst of it will be far to the south or far to the west of you. But yeah, that's what we have so far at this point. But yeah, here's up there at Montauk, again, getting hit really hard. The waves have really calmed down a lot, but we're still seeing some overall pretty significant waves that are crashing into that sidewalk there, to that walkway. See if there's anything crazy, any new photos or anything like that. I don't think there's any new photos really at all. On tree damage, just look at damage and see if there's anything that pops up for that. Look at that. Let's see, is that actually part of... see here, that's near Jewett Avenue there. That's actually quite crazy, extremely a big flooding there. See here. The $1 billion loss event is off the table now that Henri has been downgraded to a tropical storm. Wind damage will be manageable, and this will not be reinsurance and reinsurance event. Expect wire damages from flooding. More info from this BMS group inside. But looking at rainfall, 4 to 6 inches there near downtown New York, there near Manhattan, Queens, JFK getting hit quite hard there. So we got still some pretty intense rain there near New York City. So the thing has really weakened. It was expected to really weaken as well. I mean, I'm not sure what the whole big deal was about it. Obviously, this is obviously probably still going to be a pretty historic power outage event, at least. Or at least there's a chance it could very well become a historic power outage event, at least for maybe Rhode Island and Connecticut. But overall, it's going to be really a big flooding threat, a massive power outage threat as well. But wind-wise, it's going to be manageable, like it said. It's going to be some really large trees falling down, but obviously just stay in your house or just stay in your house, basically, is the best advice I can really give you. But again, there's not really much new information we're actually getting here. A lot of this is really old here. I'm not getting really new images there of trees or anything like that. But yeah, that's what we have so far with Henri here. So let's go to the buoys real quickly here. Let's see if there's any new information with the buoys. So let's see here. What do we have buoy wise? Let's see if there's any buoys. I believe there's a few near Rhode Island there that we've checked frequently. There's actually one here near the very edge near that's near what's it called? That's gonna be near Montauk, I believe so. So the details. Let's see here, information-wise. There's actually no gust winds, actually. There's no information on that, so that's fun. There's one down here near southeastern Connecticut, where obviously it's heading directly for. And there's obviously as well no wind reports or any wind information. The best wind information we're getting right now is near Newport. This is actually where we're getting the actual wind information. 36 knots, actually 37 knots. And we actually saw really strong winds earlier on. At around 10:30 a.m. So it looks like the worst of it, wind-wise, is really calming down. So I think I may end the stream here. Power outages and tree damage will continue to increase here. But other than that, the worst of the main event has already happened. It has not made landfall yet, but we're already starting to see a ton of land interaction. And it's really just falling apart a lot. Here's that third pass. Again, there's the LLC. It's about to make landfall. So, yeah, but I hope you guys enjoyed the stream here. Be sure to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it.